So thanks for sending in your questions, and I had fun reading your blogs. Thanks to everyone who sent in questions. I've got about 27-ish of them. I think I'm going to try to answer them all. There were a couple that were sent in that I'm not going to answer just because I don't feel like I'm informed enough to answer them. Just like certain shows and stuff I don't watch. Also, I would like to apologize for all the background noise as well as the poor quality. I don't have a bedroom, so I'm in the living room and my sister and my cousin are watching Family Feud and they start giggling at things I'm saying, so I'm sorry about that. So the first question is, what are you studying in college and how long has that been a life goal? I actually have two majors. My first is communications and advocacy and social change, so like working with nonprofit groups and like volunteer work and stuff. And my second major, which I just got approved this past week, which I'm really excited about because I was really scared for some reason they weren't going to approve me to double major. But my second major is English with a concentration in creative writing, which is something I've wanted to do since about 7th grade when one of my English teachers told me that she was looking forward to seeing the books I would write in the future. It was really exciting for me as a 7th grader to have an adult be like, wow, someday you're going to be an author and I can't wait to tell people that you were in my English class. And that just made like a really big impact on me. So I've always wanted to write. As far as the communications and advocacy and social change major, that's kind of something new. It was originally a journalism major, but I kind of decided I didn't want to do that after all. So I changed it to advocacy and social change, mostly because what I really want to do is make a difference in people's life, which kind of goes along with the writing thing. I want to write to impact people the way authors have impacted me, but I just want to change things, and mostly I want people who don't have as many rights as I do to have rights. Where is question number 2? 5 years ago, did you imagine your life to be anything like it is now? 5 years ago, I was 13, going on 14. No, I definitely did not see my life anything like it is now. I always kind of thought I'd be stuck in Flint even though I wanted to get out, and I always thought if I did get out, it'd be somewhere like New York, which I guess Chicago is kind of like New York. It's the 3rd largest city in the country, but it's still not New York. I especially didn't imagine my family situation to be like it is now. My parents have been divorced since I was really little, but at the time they were both remarried and I had a stepmom and a stepdad, but since then they've both been divorced from those marriages, and my mom has been married and divorced another time, and now she's kind of engaged again. I didn't imagine that for myself at all. And 5 years ago, I was just kind of a really sad kid, so I would say generally I'm a lot happier now, and I probably didn't foresee that as a 13-year-old. When was the first time, if ever, you thought about the future in a serious manner? Okay, this is kind of a really depressing story. I don't remember how old I was exactly, but I remember where I was. I was at my great-grandma's house. I used to stay with her like one night a week. And I was laying in her guest room, and it just dawned on me that someday I was going to die. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have a really awesome life in order to make up for the fact that someday I'm going to die. The next question is, what is the difference between being a fan of a show and being in a fandom? The best way I could think to describe this is like a comparison between my sister and I. Recently I've gotten her into Supernatural. She would be a fan of Supernatural. She likes to watch the show. She thinks the actors are cute. She does not blog and read fan fiction about them. When you're a fan of the show, you tune in when it's on, you watch it when you're bored, you watch the new episodes, you kind of keep track of where the actors are in their life. When you're in a fandom, the shows and the bands and the authors and the people that you're a fan of, they become your life. It's really sad. Another thing that's really awesome about fandoms is we're groups and we're families. We talk to each other, we get excited about the same things, we help each other through hiatuses and dark periods and just really sad points of the show, and then we get really awesome moments like last night when we got that People's Choice Awards. It's just, a fandom is, it's like being a fan on acid. The next question is, who is your favorite doctor? And don't hit me but I've not watched Classic Who, nor have I watched past, like, season 3 of the new Doctor Who. I just got really depressed after Doomsday, and then we went through Martha, and don't get me wrong, I liked Martha, but she wasn't Rose, and then I've only ever watched 9 and 10, and while it's really hard to pick between the two, I'd have to say 9, because your first Doctor is your favorite Doctor, and I just really liked 9, and I cried really hard when he regenerated, and it was just really sad. The next question is, do you love all of Sherlock Holmes or just BBC Sherlock? BBC Sherlock is definitely what got me into the Sherlock fandom. I've watched some of the older Sherlock Holmes with my grandpa, but mostly just BBC Sherlock, let's be honest. Oh, what are my thoughts on Elementary? I'm conflicted. I haven't watched it. I'm really upset that they made Watson a girl for whatever reason. I'll leave it at that. What was my first fandom? Sherlock. I was just kind of a hipster blog, and I was following my friend Rachel, and she was reblogging all of this fan art and fan fiction, and I was like, what? Who are these two men floating around my dashboard? And they were Benedict and Martin, and I was like just having a really bad night and needed something to do, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch the Sherlock show, and then it took over my life. The next question is, what is my favorite episode of Sherlock? That's so hard. It's not like there are that many to pick from, but it's hard. But I probably have to go with The Great Game, just because it's the one episode that I can always watch, and I don't have to pay that much attention to it to know what's going on. It's the first episode with Andrew Scott, and he's brilliant, and I love the pool scene so much. The Master, Moriarty, Crowley, and Lucifer and Loki walk into a bar. Which one survives? This is so hard and it requires thinking. I'm gonna cross Moriarty off the list first just because he's human. And none of these other people are, so he's at an extreme disadvantage. Why is this so hard? I'm also going to cross off the Master, just because Loki is a kind of a god, demigod, and Crowley and Lucifer are from hell. So I'm gonna cross the Master off, and this is where it becomes really difficult, and I don't want to cross any more people off the list. I feel like it's definitely between Crowley and Lucifer, though. I love Crowley's sass. Crowley survives. What's your favorite fandom, and which episode is your favorite? And then which character in this fandom would you marry? So definitely, at the moment, Supernatural is my favorite fandom, just because I'm still watching episodes and I can fangirl about it a lot more easily now. It's either between Hart, the one in season 2, where Sam falls in love, well, kind of falls in love. He sleeps with, the girl who's become the werewolf, and she doesn't realize she's the werewolf, and then Sam has to kill her, and it's really sad because then he realizes how much it means that he's asked Dean to kill him if anything ever happens with this whole demon blood thing. Or the one, which title I can't remember, in the beginning of season 3, where they're on a ghost hunt, and the girl who's the ghost doesn't remember that she's a ghost, or doesn't realize she's a ghost, and she thinks that she's just been kidnapped and her husband is missing, and really she's dead and her husband is married, and it's been like 13 years, and I like those 2 episodes. They're both really sad. The life of a fangirl. If you would have to choose between world peace and being the Doctor's new companion, which would you choose? And where would you start your adventure? On one hand, I have world peace, and on the other hand, I have universe peace, essentially. This is so hard. I'd probably have to choose being the Doctor's new companion. That's the universe we're talking about, and restoring order and saving species. I don't really think I could choose where I would start, because that would be the Doctor's job.